Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Think Future. My name's Calabucas, and once again, we're coming at you live from deep in the heart of Silicon Valley, California. We're talking innovation startups, the future. Not necessarily those, and not necessarily in that order. So, I'm a huge Star Trek fan. As you can tell, there's a couple of Enterprises behind me. There's an Enterprise D up there. There's a regional Enterprise behind me. Huge Star Trek fan. I've been a Star Trek fan forever. And one of the things I loved about the original series, there's many things I loved about the original series, but one of the things that I thought was the most important thing about the original series was its overly optimistic, maybe not overly, its fantastically optimistic view of where humanity was going to be in the future. Now, of course, it's a product of its time, so there were still situations where there was a lot of sort of angst between individuals. But the kind of future that Gene Roddenberry really envisioned was the kind of future where all the petty squabbles between humans were gone. We didn't worry about racism, we didn't worry about sexism, every human being was treated well. Every human being was treated the same. Every human being contributed. Every human being was valued. And it was a future that was optimistic. So it was technological. There was technology. There was culture. There was optimism. There was so much in that series that drove people. It drove people into technology. It was a future vision that was so compelling that people looked at that and said, I want to build that kind of future. So they went into technology, they went into sociology, they went into politics, and they said to themselves, that's the kind of future that I want to build. This multicultural, diverse, technological future where human beings have gone beyond the petty squabbles of the day. And at the time it was the 60s, right? Fast forward to today, when they bring these series back, now they're completely different. They're completely different for a completely different time because for some reason we're all into dystopian futures. For some reason we think the future is going to be terrible. It's going to be worse than things are now. So we've taken this optimistic view of the future, and sure, it had all sorts of other elements to it. But the main thing that the new series is missing, all of the new series are missing, is the optimistic view of the future. The fact that we have put all of our petty squabbles behind us and the human race as a whole is doing pretty well. That's what's missing from these visions of the future. And I think we're under some kind of spell at the moment that people are loving these dystopian visions of the future. I don't know what it is. I don't know why everyone is so full of negativity. I'm the optimistic futurist. I think things are going to get better, and things are going to get better. If you look at Steven Pinker's work, there's plenty of evidence, tons and tons and tons of evidence that the future is going to be better. It's not just technology. It's not just medicine. It's not just furthering science and increasing lifespans. It's not just those things. It's so much more. It's cultural change. So many things are going on that can make the future better. And the only way we can do this is if we do the exact same thing that happened as a spawn of the original series. See, everyone watched that and thought to themselves, I want to build that optimistic future. So my question is of people today who are watching these things and they see these dystopian, dismal futures, is that because they want those kind of dystopian, dismal futures to come into play? You've got to understand that we are creating our own futures. It sounds like an obvious statement, but it's not just something that's going to happen on its own. We shape it. We are shaping our futures. And we can shape our futures in a positive way, or we can shape our futures in a negative way. And currently, we're shaping our future in a negative way. We have to see a time in the future where we've gone beyond all this. We've done away with all of the problems between ourselves and can understand a united human race just like in those original series. We don't need to envision this extended strife between individuals. We can go beyond that. We have to think about it in that way, is that we're going to get past this current set of dystopia that we're in and go into possibly not a utopian future, but a better future. And the only way we can make that better future is if we envision it and build it ourselves. It is our responsibility to build that more optimistic future. If you think of everything that came out of that initial vision and the people who went into those fields to try and push that vision forward, it was an amazing cultural artifact. And what we need now are more cultural artifacts that show the optimistic future that the human race can have if we just put our minds to it and envision that possible optimistic future and then work towards building that optimistic future. I'm hoping that in future this is exactly what we're seeing. We're seeing optimistic versions of the future. We're all starting to imagine the future beyond this current negative time that we're all in, and we're imagining things getting better, and we're all working to make things better. And we're banishing the negativity of the dystopia of the past, and we're going to a brighter future, which we can only build ourselves.